here with a great tasty Valentine's Day dinner that you can cook tonight. But right now, I'm just going to show you what the marinade is, because if you're able to, you're going to want to get this marinade started this morning. This is going to need to marinate for at least 6 hours. So if you're able to, what you need to go to the grocery store and pick up and get marinating, you need to get a pork tenderloin. I don't cook a lot of pork, but if anything says loin as far as meat goes, it's going to be, oh, excuse you, baby. If it says loin, it's going to be a more lean part of the meat. So we're cooking a pork tenderloin, and we're going to use Bosc pears and red onions. Okay, so I'm going to go through all the ingredients real quick and let you know what you need. So we have 3 Bosc pears, we have a red onion, a shallot, garlic, salt, pepper, cayenne pepper, thyme, balsamic vinegar. Now you can use white balsamic in this recipe or the dark balsamic. I'm actually going to use the dark, but you can use the light. Dijon mustard and maple syrup. And hubby did a good job getting me flowers. So guys, don't forget to get your wife some flowers, girlfriend, whoever. You don't want to be in the doghouse. So real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to chop up this shallot. Okay, so we're just going to chop up this shallot real quick. I like to cut the ends off and then just slice it down the side, and then it peels off. I'm sure you can hear my little one running around with his jingly little socks on there. Okay, so you just want to chop this up really thin, and I'm going to use about half of it. I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm going to use half. Now, if you do 2 pork tenderloins for your entire family, if you have a bigger family, you're probably going to want to do 2. My pork tenderloin is close to 2 pounds. I think it was 185. So that's going to be enough for my family. But you could always double this recipe. So I've got half a shallot that I'm going to pour in to my bowl here. Now I'm going to do 1 large clove of garlic or 2 small cloves. You can do either one. Chop that really quick. Good rough chop on there. Now we're going to add our liquids here. I'm going to do just under 1/4 of a cup. You know what? I'm going to do a full 1/4 cup because I'm going to reserve some of this. Just a second, baby. And then I'm going to also use about 1/4 cup of maple syrup, as well as about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, ground black pepper, and my husband doesn't like super spicy food, so don't tell him I put a little bit of cayenne pepper in there. About a tablespoon of thyme leaves. You can use dried or fresh. And then we're also going to use some Himalayan sea salt there. Okay. Also add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so I have my pork tenderloin out of the package in my baking dish. I'm going to whisk this around really well. It's going to be a good thick marinade. And it just needs to marinate for about 6 hours. Okay, so I'm going to pour this over and I'm going to stick it in the fridge. Now, once you get this poured on, you're going to want to make sure it completely covers the entire pork tenderloin. You just kind of want to massage it in, make sure it's completely covered. And you could also flip this about midday just to make sure it's covered there. What are you doing? Okay. Alright, we got that ready. I'm going to put some saran wrap over that, and we're going to stick it in the fridge for at least 6 hours. I'll be back with the rest of the recipe soon. Okay guys, we're back. Our pork tenderloin has been marinating for about 7 hours now. I've just taken it out and we're going to sear it in just 1 second. So I've cut up my red onion into about 1-inch portions. I've just sliced it like that. So I cut up a whole onion. Now next we're gonna core your pear. Here's a core. If you have one of these, this will work. If not, you can just use a knife. This does make it a little easier though. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere. A lot of you probably already have them. So I'm just gonna pop the core out here. And I'm gonna slice this down the middle. And then I'm gonna put it face down, and I'm just gonna cut this pear into 1-inch sections. Now I've used 3 Bosc Pears for this recipe. You can usually find those at your local grocery store. I was able to get these yesterday, so that worked perfectly. And it's gonna be really good with this pork tenderloin that's been going all day. Okay, so we've got all of this cut into 1-inch portions, and now the next thing we're gonna do is get that meat searing. Okay, so I've got my cast iron pan. You really want to use something, whether it's cast iron or whatever you use, stoneware. You want to make sure you can go from stovetop to oven with whatever you use for this part of the recipe. So I've taken my pork tenderloin out of the marinade. You want to reserve the marinade. I've taken it out of the marinade and I'm searing the first side. This will take about 1 to 2 minutes per side. You just want to get a beautiful golden brown on each side. Also, you want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Okay guys, I've got my oven preheated at 375 degrees. I've taken my pork tenderloin out of the marinade and I've placed it in a cast iron skillet on medium-high heat. That's really important. You want it to be really hot when you put this in here because we're just going to braise each side. We're just going to get it seared really well till you get a beautiful golden brown all the way around the meat. So we're going to do all 4 sides for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side, and we're leaving the marinade reserved on the side. So I've gotten 2 sides seared here. Let me give you a better view of how this looks. That's a beautiful golden brown there. That's what you're looking for. So we're doing each side. Now, while that's cooking, along with this recipe, I've got some wild rice cooking in some bone broth. And I'm also going to cook some fresh green beans. So I'm going to go ahead and give you that recipe real quick while we're waiting on this. So right here in another pan, I've just got a minced clove of garlic and about a tablespoon of olive oil. And I've just cut the ends of my green beans. Just regular green beans. We're going to get this hot for about 30 seconds just so the garlic starts to sweat a little. I'm going to throw a little sea salt in there. See if I can give you a shot of this. And our tenderloin's coming along beautifully. Let's check this next side. Yes, this is what you're looking for, a beautiful brown. So we're going to do this last side here. Got a couple of irons in the fire. I'm going to throw my green beans in, and I'm just going to add about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of water to that, and I'm going to cover it, and we're just going to cook those on medium-low for about 15-20 minutes, just until they're done. Okay, our pork tenderloin has gotten brown on every side. So now I'm going to pour the marinade over the top of this. Sorry, I'm having to block the camera here for a second. Make sure you get it really good on the top. You want to turn down the heat. And now I'm going to add all of my pears. It's going to be a really full pan here. I'm going to do a layer of pears, and then also a layer of my red onions here. You just want to completely coat everything here. I may not be able to fit the whole onion as well as all of the pears. Okay, I've got most of them in there now. I'm going to cover this with tin foil lightly and put it in the oven on 375 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay guys, our pork tenderloin cooked for about 20 to 25 minutes, covered in the cast iron skillet. I basted it a couple of times and then I took it out. I laid it on my cutting board, lightly covered it with foil, and let it rest for about 5 minutes just to let the juices reconstitute. Now I've sliced it and I've put it on top of my brown rice, and I cooked down, while I was waiting for 5 minutes, I used the cast iron skillet with all of the red onion, all that delicious marinade, and the pears in there, and reduced it down, and now I've covered it on top, and we're having that along with a spring mix salad with some of the pears, red onion, and gorgonzola cheese, and I'm also going to put gorgonzola cheese over the top of this delicious dinner for Valentine's Day. I hope y'all have a great Valentine's Day. This is acceptable on the second phase of my program. You can go to my website, brianmarsh.com. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy.